Hi, my name is Nicola Young, and I'm the safety representative at Thrive Local as well as the charity director. This short 30-minute training video is aimed at people involved in volunteering at Thrive Local. We believe that it's important for us as an organization to create a safe place for people to engage and grow in our community programs. This training is about our responsibility as a team to keep safety at the center of our operations and enable others to experience our programs in an environment where safety of all is paramount, particularly for children and vulnerable people who can't fend for themselves. There is going to be a short quiz at the end of the video. Workplace health and safety is governed at Thrive Local by our workplace health and safety policy. Child safety is governed by our child protection policy, which has been developed in conjunction to the recommendations made by the Royal Commission. Its foundational requirements are also governed by the Child Protection Reform and Other Legislation Amendment Act of 2022. Just one incident of harm to our team, our community, to our children within any one of our community services can have a huge impact. The implications of harm or abuse is far-reaching and have long-lasting implications for the individual, the institution, and for society at large. The responsibility to keep our workforce and our workplace and our children safe does not lie only with myself, our board and staff, but also with yourselves, our volunteer team. Together, we are responsible for keeping our children safe and providing a safe place in the community for people to come to. We want you to feel empowered to speak up and work with us to ensure our programs are safe for all. Further to this, we are committed to the spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being of our children and our families at Thrive Local. We recognize and celebrate cultural diversity within our community and in the broader area that we serve. Our commitment is to ensure a safe, welcoming, and respectable environment for children and families of all cultural and linguistic backgrounds. So, without further ado, we're going to go through some things that are important for us to articulate so that we have a common understanding of how we manage risk. For each service that we run at Thrive Local, we have risk assessments which are recorded and placed on file. These take into consideration the activities that we're engaging in and help us to consider how we can mitigate any identified risks. Risk assessments are conducted for each event and include our regular programs. You need to be aware that if you run a large event on behalf of Thrive Local, that a risk assessment does need to be in place. In this video, we are going to have a look at how we manage fire safety and evacuations, look at first aid, manual handling, and general child safety as well. It's really important that we keep fire exits clear for obvious reasons so people can get out. It's really easy to get caught up in a moment and place things in front of fire exits or block doors. With everyone's vigilance and checking exits and pathways are clear, we can get this done together. Fire plans are drawn up and put in prominent places on the walls in our venue that we make use of. Please can you make yourself familiar with these? And this brings us to evacuations. Should it be necessary to evacuate the building for any reason, you're asked to encourage people to just remain calm and to exit the building in an orderly manner. In the event of a fire, people are required to leave all of their belongings and evacuate as quickly as possible. In the event of a bomb threat, you're asked to encourage people to take their own bags with them to the evacuation point. At our venue at Centrepoint Church, you are to exit through the designated doors and head towards the evacuation point, which is in the parking area indicated at the back on the fire safety plans. Children will be taken to the evacuation point by the team, which is on duty together with their parents. It's important that children stay together so that we can account for them and ensure that nobody has been left behind. and ask parents not to take their children away until everyone is accounted for. So to summarize then, the evacuation point is at the designated area, which is at the back of the parking lot, as shown on the fire safety plans that you can see on the screen. With regards to first aid, in the case of someone requiring first aid, we have a team member on board who has first aid and CPR training on duty. They can be called on to administer first aid and or CPR. There are also other first aiders on staff at the venue. Common things which are used from our first aid boxes are wound cleaner, band-aids, ice packs, and there are a lot of other goodies in there as well for typical first aid needs. The first aid box locations are in the kitchen area, in the designated cupboard, in the info desk area, in the marked location, probably the one that we would make use of the most, the little explorers room. All first aid is administered and any incidents need to be recorded in the appropriate documentation found next to or underneath the first aid boxes. It's important to complete first aid or incident report forms as soon as possible and hand it in to the team leader on duty or to a staff member. They are considered and evaluated to determine whether or not any further action is required or to decide if any remedial action is required as a result of the incident. There is also a defibrillator on site in the designated area in the information desk area. As a team member, you will at some point be picking something up or shifting something. So we ask you to follow safe lifting practices. So if you are lifting or moving heavy or oddly shaped objects, please don't go outside of your comfort zone and lift things that are too heavy or awkward or for you. Always engage the help of a fellow team member where required. We're always better together. When you are lifting something, bend at the knees, keep your back straight, and ensure that you do not hurt yourself. I'm going to move on now to child safety and general child safety. All of our volunteers are asked to read through and be familiar with our child protection policy before they come on board. This is applicable to all of our volunteers. Our holistic aim really is to not do anything to put a child or a young person at risk and to raise any safety concerns that you have with your upline or your supervisor. I'm just going to reiterate here that child safety applies to all staff members, to the board, to every volunteer, to every single member on the team, to every parent, to every visitor, to every contractor that is involved or near our programs. It isn't limited to our regular programs, but it's relevant to any program at all, any event or any occasion where young people are present. By being open and transparent, we ensure that all community members are safe too. Each member must be adequately trained to protect our young people in our programs. It's important to follow Thrive local policies, procedures, our code of conduct, which is relevant to your role. For playgroup team, this includes more specific policies than for the general programs, and we have a strict no blue card, no work policy for those team members involved in programs with children directly. Please be aware of how you engage in your conversations, in your interactions with children, and also with young people. Ensure always that they occur in full view of at least two other adults and never be in a private place away from visual observance or other adults. Anywhere young people under the age of 18 are involved in child-focused activities, there should always be two blue-carded people present. Where it is not a child-focused activity, the parent is typically around or the responsible guardian is around to ensure the child's safety. When considering touch, as an organization, touching and hugging is something that has become a part of our culture. So to help many of us, you do need to be aware of boundaries with others especially when it comes to dealing with children. Regarding adult-initiated touch, you always need to ask permission of a child. Physical contact is only engaged in neutral zones. This means that we're going from above the middle part of our back, up along their arms, and staying out of any personal zones or areas. Remember that not everybody wants to have a hug, and it's important to ask permission first if the situation calls for it. Would you like a hug? And then do a side hug, never ever a frontal hug. When with a child, you need to maintain an open position. When there's space between you, standing or sitting, you can sit to the side of a child. As an adult, sometimes a child needs comforting. You can provide comfort to a child where required without the need for a child to be draped all over you. And as a leader, you need to remain in control of the situation. This means that there should be no kissing, no massaging, no tickling, no stroking, pinching, or touching any intimate areas of the body at all. If the actions of a child or a young person's behavior is uncomfortable or you feel that it's inappropriate, you need to seek the assistance of a senior leader who will then seek the support of the child or young person's parent or caregivers. The only exception to this is when there is an emergency, when a child or a young person is at immediate risk of serious harm. You are not to pick a child up over the age of 3 unless there is an emergency, and do not have a child over walking age sit on your lap. Instead, put them to the side of you where possible. If a child under the age of 3 needs comforting, you can hold them while you're standing when appropriate, or have them sit next to you. Of course, if you have the parent's permission, this is different. We're now well into the digital age, and we need to be aware of how to engage through texts and social media and the like. There are also some language and behavioral boundaries that we all need to be aware of and consider in our online presence. It's important, just as in spoken language, that you use positive, honest, and encouraging language in a pleasant tone, which includes children and young people and their parents or caregivers. These things may seem obvious, but I'll say them anyway. We don't want to swear, to yell, to insult, to name call, or make any suggestive comments or jokes, including reference to person's physical appearance, online or in person. Really important that we don't engage in activities that are going to embarrass, intimidate, or make a person feel victimized. Each person needs to be treated with love and with respect. Our team's online presence is a reflection of Thrive Local. Therefore, please don't communicate with a child online that you have met at Thrive Local through our program or activity unless it's in a group setting and it has been authorized by program leaders and also their parents. It goes without saying that illegal behavior with a child or with a young person at Thrive Local is not allowed or encouraged in any way at all. This includes allowing the use of smoking, alcohol, misuse of drugs, and sharing or showing sexual images or pornography. And please, if you do identify any of this, report anything that you may have seen to us at the organization, to your supervisor or leader, or to myself. Ensure that you have permission from someone before you post a photograph of them on social media as well. As time does go on, we all develop in relationships, and there are some things to watch in our relationships, specifically with children. Beware of developing any out of the ordinary or private type relationships with children. If a child or a young person develops what seems to be an infatuation, speak to the program leader about it immediately. Don't develop an ongoing friendship with a child or a young person without their parents or their caregivers' knowledge and consent. Keep all of your relationships with young children out in the open, never behind closed doors or in the private areas. Without exception, anyone that is working with children under the age of 18 in Queensland needs to comply with blue card requirements. Even if you hold a working with children's check, which is valid in another state, it is not recognized in Queensland. Obtaining a blue card is a relatively easy online application process to follow. And if you're a blue card holder, you need to immediately notify a Queensland Blue Card or Thrive Local of any changes to your blue card status. There are some things that you need to be aware of with regards to confidentiality and disclosures with children. Some of the things that might arise for you, suspicions of harm to a child, would be bruising, physical, mental negligence, any malnutrition. If they're unkept, anything along these lines, it must be disclosed to your supervisor. It may be that a child is aware of abuse and wants to hide the situation from others, or even worse, that they are not aware of the fact that they are being abused. Handling any disclosures of harm can be very tough, so it's important to be sensitive to the following protocol that we have identified. With regards to confidentiality and disclosures, it's important that you follow the following protocol in the event of a disclosure from a child. Listen carefully and don't add anything to what the child says. You'll have to write down what they said later. Reassure the child that they have done the right thing in speaking to you, and inform them that you need to let people know who can help them. Don't promise to keep it a secret from anyone. You must tell somebody who can help. Ensure that the child is not in immediate danger, and immediately report this to your supervisor. Also, remember to keep it short. Don't ask a child probing questions or encourage the child to keep on talking in detail, as this can hinder any legal investigations which take place after this. In addition, probing questions can put a child in a position of continued harm, so don't ask probing questions. Don't start an investigation yourself, and don't promise a child that the abuse or the harm will stop. Do not tell anyone who doesn't need to know. It's important to report the disclosure or suspicion of harm to your supervisor or senior leader and your program manager as soon as possible. So to sum it all up then, during the video we have spoken about how we might mitigate risk at the charity, how we look at the protocol for fires, we've spoken about exits and evacuations, we've spoken about first aid and how to find a first aider and where the first aid kit and defibrillator is kept. We have spoken about the importance of understanding your role in manual handling in order to protect your body and that of others as well. We've looked at our mandate as an organization to look after the children in our community programs. Also, if you're a part of the playgroup team or your work directly is involved with children, please keep on watching. We have some more important information which is specific to your role to share with you. If you don't work with kids and you leave the video now, do you have any concerns, feedback, any complaints or questions about the content of this video, please feel free to ask myself or your team leader. Thank you very much for agreeing to serve on our team and taking the journey of building stronger communities. Please be sure to complete the quiz using the link that has been sent to you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time and commitment to keeping every person and every young person safe within our Thrive Local program. This is our final section requirement for all playgroup workers. It's important that you keep your blue card on you all of the time. You will be provided with a lanyard as a form of identification. And as a leader, you need to be aware that you have the authority to question anybody in the area of playgroup who does not have identification or authorization to be there. Let your program leader know, let me know, and we will ensure that we follow a protocol to ensure the safety of all children. In the event of a program where parents are not present, there will always be 2 adults that hold a current blue card or exemption cards present, even if there's only 1 child in that program. In the event of playgroup where parents are present, the facilitator who is blue carded is more than able to be with the children in the presence of the parents. Just remember, never put yourself into a situation where you are alone with a child. With regards to signing in, we ask all parents who bring their children along to sign in using the QR code. This will ensure that we are made aware of any circumstances or situation around that child from the parents, including allergies or any health-related issues that we need to be aware of so that we can help them. Also, contact information will be provided in the event of an emergency for an emergency contact as well. As a leader, you will go through an induction process. So please ensure that you ask plenty of questions with regards to your role, your responsibility, and ensure exactly what is required of you to deliver on the program to our children and to our families. As a leader, we do need to follow any reasonable instructions provided by the parents or caregivers in relation to health and safety of the child, including actively being aware of any allergy management processes, including anaphylaxis. So they will specifically provide us an anaphylaxis plan, which we will need to follow as well in the event of an emergency. Children and parents are generally pretty good with ensuring that they do not consume anything that will be harmful, but we do need to take this upon ourselves as well. With regards to taking children to the toilets, parents are responsible in the playgroup setting for taking their children to the toilets and facilitating all of their toileting needs. We have hand washing available for parents and children, and they do need to be washed for hygiene purposes as well. In the event of an activity that we hold within the charity where parents are not present, it is always necessary to have 2 blue carded people present. When children are taken to the toilet is checked to make sure that it is free from any other people in it, and ensure that nobody else goes into the bathroom while the child is in the bathroom doing their business as well. That's it in a nutshell. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time and your commitment to keeping every person and every young person safe within our Thrive Local program and family. If you have any concerns or feedback or complaints, please don't hesitate to speak to myself or to your leaders. Please can you now go ahead and complete the quiz and check your understanding of this video. Thanks so much for all you do.